You know, the way we all shop in India, it's completely changing. It's not just an evolution, it's a full-blown revolution, and it affects every single one of us. It's a fascinating story of our familiar corner stores, those giant new malls, and the incredible technology that's connecting them all. So let's dive in and see what this retail transformation really looks like on the ground.
To get a feel for this, just picture this scenario. A recent graduate in Lucknow is on the job hunt. And their options? Well, they're not just the traditional office jobs anymore. They could be working at a massive D-Mart, or in an Amazon warehouse, or at a trendy Nika store. Or, and this is the really interesting part, at a local kirana store that's now powered by tech. And right there, in that one example, you can see just how dynamic and exciting India's retail world has become. Now, before we get into the big numbers and trends, just take a second. Think about your own life, your own family. How has your shopping routine changed in, say, the last 5 years? Seriously, do you still go to the same local shop for everything? Or are you getting groceries delivered to your door in 10 minutes? Maybe you browse in a mall but then buy on an app. That little personal shift you've experienced, it's a tiny piece of a massive national story that's unfolding right now.
Okay, so those personal changes we just thought about, they're actually part of a much bigger story. Because retail in India is so much more than just a bunch of shops. It's a powerful engine that's literally driving the entire economy forward.
How about this for a number? The retail sector contributes a staggering 10% to India's entire GDP. To put that in perspective, that's a bigger slice of the pie than some other huge sectors like construction or manufacturing. It's an absolutely critical pillar of our national growth.
And it's not just about money. What about jobs? Well, the sector employs over 8% of the country's total workforce. That makes it one of the largest employers out there, second only to agriculture. We're talking millions and millions of jobs, from people working in warehouses to data analysts poring over our shopping habits.
We don't often think about the incredible journey a product takes, do we? It starts with a farmer or a producer, moves through processors and wholesalers. It's a long road. But that final link in the chain, the retailer, that's the one we all connect with, probably every single day. They're the face of this whole complex system.
And this really shows how different kinds of retailers serve our different needs. Your local kirana, they're there for you late at night, and maybe they even give you personal credit, the khata. A big supermarket is perfect for those monthly stock-ups where you get bulk savings. And then there's the quick commerce app, saving the day when you desperately need something in 10 minutes. Each one provides a unique kind of value.
You gotta understand, for a big brand, a retailer isn't just a customer. No way. They are the powerful gatekeepers. They're the ones who decide which products you and I actually get to see, whether it's on a physical shelf or on an app's homepage. They give feedback that can completely change a product's design or price, and that shifts the entire balance of power in the industry.
So to really get a handle on Indian retail, you have to understand its split personality. It's really a tale of two completely different worlds, living side by side. Just look at this split. It's kind of mind-blowing. The unorganized sector. We're talking about your neighborhood kiranas, the small family-run shops, the street vendors. They still make up a massive 85% of the entire market. The organized sector, your malls, retail chains, and e-commerce giants, that's the other 15%. For now at least, tradition still rules.
But, and this is a big but, that balance isn't going to stay this way for long. In fact, one of the biggest economic shifts in the country is happening right now, and it's changing these numbers in a huge way.
And here's the headline number. By 2030, which is not that far away, the organized sector's share is projected to more than double, growing to over 35% of the total market. This is a monumental change, and it's being driven by everything from urbanization and rising incomes to, of course, technology.
But hold on, this isn't a simple story of, the shiny new thing replacing the old thing. The future of Indian retail is actually all about blending these two worlds. It's where the traditional corner store literally meets the cloud. This quote right here, it just nails it. The popular story we always hear is online versus offline, like it's a fight to the death. But the reality on the ground is so much more collaborative. These new players are realizing just how valuable the huge trusted network of traditional kiranas really is.
A key driver of all this change is something we've all seen: quick commerce. Companies like Zepto and Blinkit have totally changed our habits into cities by promising delivery in under 30 minutes. And they do this using a network of small, local warehouses called dark stores.
You can think of them as mini supermarkets with no customers, just for the delivery riders.
And don't think for a second the kiranas are just standing still watching this happen. Nope. They are adapting and evolving fast. Over 40% are already using digital payments like UPI, and a whopping 80% see adopting new technology as absolutely critical for their own survival. They're actively jumping into this digital revolution.
So this blending of worlds, it has a buzzword, of course. It's called omni-channel retail. But don't let the jargon fool you. It's a pretty simple idea. It's all about creating one single smooth experience for you, the customer, whether you're shopping on your phone, your laptop, or in a physical store. Those old boundaries are just melting away.
So what does that actually look like? Well, here's a perfect example. You're scrolling through Instagram and see a cool pair of sneakers. Then you pop over to the brand's website to compare prices. You decide to go to a mall to actually try them on for size. But instead of carrying the box home, you just scan a QR code in the store and poof, they get delivered right to your house. That right there is a modern, omni-channel journey.
All right, so we've looked at the money, the old school structure, and the crazy new tech. But what happens when you stir it all together? What's the big picture for how we're all going to shop in the future?
This transformation is happening on every single level. We're moving from a divided, us versus them structure to one that's blended and connected. Technology is leaping from just basic billing to things like AI and data analytics. The experience itself is going from just a simple transaction to something that's personalized for you. And maybe the biggest shift of all, power is moving away from the big brands and toward the retailers and platforms that control the data and own the customer relationship.
At the end of the day, if you remember one thing, it should be this. The most exciting stuff happening in Indian retail isn't about the old fighting the new. It's happening right at that intersection where they connect. It's not a battle. It's all about building bridges.
So let's bring it all home. What are the big takeaways? First, retail is a massive pillar of India's economy and its job market. Second, our system is a really unique blend of the old and the new. Third, technology is acting like the glue connecting these two worlds, not a weapon destroying one. And finally, every time you tap an app or use UPI at your local shop, you are an active part of this incredible revolution. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. As the humble kirana store gets plugged into these super sophisticated cloud networks and data platforms, who's really going to come out on top? Will it be the tech giants, the big retail chains, the brands, or will it be the newly empowered small entrepreneur? The answer to that is going to define the future of how all of India shops.